Hi everyone, it's Lisa with Ink and Inspirations, and here's another Halloween project for 2022. I'm using Best Witches and a sentiment from Scary Cute from the Holiday Mini Catalog. So I need 2 pieces of 10 by 10 designer series paper. So I'm going to take these 12 by 12 sheets and cut 2 inches off of each side. So I'm lining that up using my paper trimmer, and you have to be sure the paper is butted up all the way against the top. Save that strip that you cut off. You're going to need one of those 2 by 12 strips. And then cut off another 2 inches from the other side. So now we have 10 by 10, and we're going to just repeat that process on this one, cutting off at 10 and then flipping it 90 degrees and cutting at 10 again. All right, so now we have these 2 pieces of Gingham Cottage Designer Series paper from the mini catalog that's current right now. And we're going to do some scoring at 2.5 and 7.5. Then we're going to turn and score it at 2.5 with what will be the bottom, and 8 3/4, which will be the top of the bag. So if your paper has directionality, here I'm scoring the second sheet. If your paper has directionality, you want to be sure you're doing that 2.5 on the bottom and the 8 3/4 score for the top. So now we're going to fold and burnish on these score lines, and you see that I'm folding backwards for that 8 3/4 inch score. That's because it's going to be a little contrasting strip across the top of our bag. Now this is going to make a rather nice size bag or lots of treats or a good sized gift, and I'll show you at the end of the video what I'm putting in mine. So here I'm going on the second sheet, folding and burnishing on those score lines, which is very important when you're making a 3D project. So now I'm cutting off 2 squares that are formed by those intersecting score lines at the bottom of one of the sheets to make that tab. And then I'll take the other sheet and just cut up to that score, 2.5 inch score, and leave the little tabs on the side. So now this long tab is going to adhere to the center of the other side of the bag. So I'm using Stampin' Seal Plush. You could use tear and tape to make it a good seal, but I like the Seal Plus. And I made sure that it was flush against the other side, so it's a neat finish. And then I'm folding this up and going to adhere that on the 2 sides. So I decided to go ahead and try the adhesive, and then I'm going to open it up and see that it's a little easier to do it with it flat. So I'm putting on 2 sides, then folding up and coming over the other side to adhere it. And those 2 little squares went toward the inside of that bag bottom. So there's our bag. And so now I'm going to take a 1 inch by 12 inch strip. I took that 2 inch strip that we cut off initially, and I'm just attaching it to the sides of the bag for our handle. Okay, so now I took a piece of basic white with one of the dies from the Scallop Contours dies collection, and I'm inking my little witch up with Memento Black ink because I'm going to color with various Stampin' Blends, our alcohol markers. So to save time, I've already done that, and there's our little colored witch, and now I'm going to do the sentiment. So I embossed that in white on a parakeet party strip, but I want that sentiment to stand out a little more, so I'm taking a blending brush and some parakeet party ink and just highlighting over the top there. And you see now that sentiment is really popping out with that dark inked background. Take a little rag and brush off the ink off the embossed sentiment, and it looks even better. So now taking the paper snips and just cutting close to the sentiment, and I'm going to put it at the bottom, but I see a smudge there, so I'm going to cover it up to the right side, and then I'm going to place it on the front of our bag, just using a little Stampin' Seal and applying it there. So I want to add a little ribbon, so I've got some of the Parakeet Party sparkly ribbon tying a bow, and then I will attach that with a mini glue dot. So I just adapted when I saw that little smudge and put the sentiment and the ribbon to work with my piece there. So there is the bag, and now I'm going to show you. I went to Dollar Tree and I got this little painting set with an easel. So I opened the package as I'm putting all the contents inside, and I can stuff that with tissue paper or shredded paper. And here's another one done in a different color. So be sure and visit inkandinspirations.com for more ideas and to shop for supplies to make this project.